Well, good afternoon, everybody. The music failed me about 15 seconds too early, but that's show business. How y'all doing? Good to see you again. It's Saturday. It's still Saturday. Glad to see y'all. People starting to come in. We're pushing 50 people now right at the beginning. That's great. That's great. Great to see you. Great to see you. Welcome. Welcome to my Saturday live stream. It's me, Mitch, in case there was any doubt about that. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all you guys that showed up this morning. We had a terrific live, I had a ball with Ellen there, and it was great and very well attended. We maxed out at one point, very close to 200 people viewing, which has to be an all-time record for me. And I attribute that to the fact that Ellen is a lot prettier than me. And we all know that a pretty face does attract attention. It's used everywhere. Advertising, show business, everywhere. Well, I'm going to use it too. Why not? So we've got Ellen here, and Ellen is going to act as a moderator today. Act as a moderator. And I'm going to kind of scooch myself over a little bit like that and make room for Ellen up in the corner. Like that. Say hi, Ellen.
Hi, everyone in chat.
Oh, yeah, your microphone sounds much, much better. And my microphone this morning was horrible. And I had no idea it was that bad until I watched the replay. And even had a comment. Somebody says, well, I tuned in, but I couldn't watch it. The audio was so bad. And I said, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
And I apologize. One thing I learned, like I said, is that I move around a lot when I talk. So we tested with me still talking into the computer. But when I'm talking, I'm not even Italian, but I don't talk with my hands. I talk with my whole being. So.
Yeah, well, what we just did was we just almost doubled the volume setting that Ellen had on her StreamYard app that she's running this through, and that really made a difference. And I have decided, for those of you that were watching, that I can't use those headphones with a tablet. They are not made. They're made to be used with a professional mixer, evidently. And even though I tried many times to adjust the volume down because they were just overdriving and clipping and making static, and I couldn't fix it, and I couldn't stop the live stream to go reconfigure the audio. So tomorrow, and I just got done testing it, I'm going to wear earbuds, very good quality earbuds that have tremendous microphones in them. So, and again, I won't know how well it came out until I actually watch the replay. So I did record something and play back the recording, and it was fine. So we'll see. So tomorrow you won't have to see me with the big ugly headphones, but I will have these little black things stuck in my ear, and we'll see if that's better. And yes, I'm going to do one on Sunday morning. And Ellen, you don't have to be there if you don't want to. No obligation. You don't have to let me know now. Just let me know beforehand. Because 7 days a week is a lot to ask of anybody. So we're going to relegate Ellen to her God position up there in heaven. And she's going to be watching the chat primarily and just waving at me or unmuting her mic and grabbing my attention if something happens that she thinks would be beneficial, not only to me, but to the listeners, to bring to my attention. So the two of us are going to have to get used to this because this is new. But we're going to give it a shot, and we're going to see what happens. So I don't have anything other than my normal disclaimers that I'm not a doctor. I am not allowed to give personal, nor do I want to give personal one-on-one medical advice. I talk only about my own theories, my own conclusions, my own methods that I came up with, and their results on me and my experience. So I can answer questions. Generalized questions, just not my cholesterol is such, my blood sugar is such. What do I do? I can't answer those kind of questions. They're better put to Ken Berry or Chafee. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be prudent for me to do it. Even if I knew the answer, I still couldn't do it. So that's my disclaimer. Been running around like crazy today, just trying to get done what I have to get done between these live streams, and I just managed to get here in time. And I'll settle down. Let me start right off. And remember, if you have a question or something to attract attention to it, type 3 capital Qs first off in the chat. And I'll see it, or hopefully if I miss it, Ellen will see it also. So here we go. Here we go. First in today at 7:18 a.m. A little early. Was United Carnivore. Says greetings from Tampa Bay. Michael Seeley, how you doing, Michael? And the first 6 or 7 of these were people who actually just logged in when I put the stream up, or when they woke up and saw it, and just wanted to be first in the chat. So we have Zeno says, hey, and Richard Williams was here from Copper Hill, Tennessee at 8:30 a.m. Meathead chimed in. Also at 8:30, Dixie Scott chimed in. Good morning. And at 8:38, wow, early risers. Bass Piper chimed in and said hello at 9:05. Roland McNeely, and how you doing? Good to see you. Then Loco Emu 2 chimed in. My buddy Drone Shots says, hey, how you doing, Jody? Good to see you. I chimed in, welcoming everybody. Tom in Tampa, Viking 442, good afternoon from Tampa, Florida. How you doing, Tom? Good to see you. Father of United Carnivore, Michael Seeley. Obviously not that early in the morning, but he's here. Good to see you, Mike. Tina Schweikerath is with us. Hiya, Tina. Good afternoon, Mitch. We have to stop meeting like this. No, we don't. No, we don't. I like meeting like this. Jerry Vodstish from Ponte Vedra Beach. He says he hopes everybody's having a relaxing weekend. Greg Smith, Gregory, how are you this afternoon? Good to see you. Lori Weitzel is here. Mama Cracker Patty, how you doing? And the one and only Scooby the dog, Ellen, looking over my shoulder, keeping me in line. And who else didn't I say hi to in the early birds? Turamir is here. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Ellen, Mitch, Jerry. You see, Ellen, you get first billing. I told you. And Ellen's busy chatting away. Incredible how she does that. Who else is new? Said hi to you, Jerry. Repeat. Mary Endersby, how you doing, Mary? Good to see you. So happy I made it live. Well, we're happy that you made it too. And Margie Graves, hi, Margie. Good to see you. Good afternoon to my new meat-eating family. It's not Margie, it's Bill. Hi, Bill. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. And there's Ellen again, and Turamir, and Ellen again, and Tina, and Maria, Sarah. Good to see you from Finland. Cool. I love it when people from across the pond come in on Saturday. Now, I don't know about your neck of the woods, but here it is gorgeous. It's gorgeous outside, and it's Saturday. It'll be interesting to see how many people actually attend this live stream, but I don't blame them if they don't. We all have lives, and the reason I do this back in the afternoon over here is so that the people elsewhere in the world who never can seem to make the evening live streams, or even my morning ones, can at least have a shot at it. So I'm glad to see when they actually come in. ES 111. Good afternoon. I'm not bald. But will ask my stylist to cut my hair exactly like Mitch. You can use this as you can take this with you as a template. Don't do that, man. If you got it, enjoy it. If you got it, enjoy it. Between you and me, I enjoy being bald. It's just one less thing I got to fool with, fix up, and worry about. You know, I don't even go to the barber anymore. I take a shears, I put a number 3 fence on it, and I just shave whatever's back there. Give myself a haircut, save $20.
Mitch,
Yes.
I'm making a note here after that comment. I'm thinking future video ideas. Mitch's morning hair and beauty routine.
Oh, there you yeah. Okay, that'd be funny.
Influencers are doing that, so I'll jot that down.
Yeah, jot that down, Ellen. That'd be the world's shortest video. That would even be too short for a short. That would be 8 seconds. What Mitch does in the morning to beautify himself. Yeah. Basically, it looks like this. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
Maybe a little brush on the old tooth, and we got it. So, here, I thought you had a question for me already. And let's see who I haven't said hi to. We are only up to just at the start, up to only 3 o'clock. So a lot of you weren't even in yet when these people were chatting. And here's a new one, Donna B. Hey, Mitch and Ellen. Moorhen. Good to see you, man. I assume it's a man from across the pond over there. Good to see you. Always good to see you. And my favorite cartoon character, Bart Simpson, is here. I feel better if I eat one day and skip all eating the next day and keep repeating this routine. So you're fasting. You're doing a 24-hour or 30-something hour fast every other day. If that works for you, by God, and you feel better and everything's working right, and you're not hungry, by all means. Nobody says you have to eat every day. I don't think our ancestors managed to eat every day. I think your routine was probably more common for them. And who is that? Polish Mike. How you doing, Polish Mike? Good to see you. I think I said hi to Grandma Prepper if I haven't. With all the grandmas and the mamas, and I get them confused sometimes. Who else we got here? Said hi to you. Peter is here. Papa Carnivore. Hi, Peter. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Glad you could make it today. Everybody's saying hi to Peter now. Said hi to Margie Graves, Lori, Turamir, Robin Palmer. Hiya, Robin. Glad you could come. And Jerry Vodstush says, how many are attending the meetup next Friday? I'm getting RSVPs now. I got RSVPs for 4 more people today. I would imagine we're going to have, at a minimum, 20-something, and maybe as many as 30 people, because I don't know. As in, when we had the one in Tampa, Kiltsey had a number of his followers came, and we're surprised to actually find out that the actual meetup was sponsored, not paid for, but kind of put together by my channel. But I have to thank Mike Seeley over there in Tampa, United Carnivore, for getting all these other people interested in this, because he's active in their communities too, and he spreads the word. And if Kiltsey was to take credit for putting it together, fine. Just come. Whatever you need to do, get as many people as you can to show up. The whole idea is to have more and more like-minded carnivores in one room at the same time. It's a great feeling to be around people that don't think you're crazy. Yes, sir. Patty Molden, how you doing, Patty? Good to see you. I think I said hi to Maria Sarah. Yes, I did. And we're getting down there. Laurie Whitesell, I see a question here. What do you have in store for future videos? Behind the scenes? Yeah, I was going to do a video behind the scenes of setting up and kind of doing that morning live stream. I have a video probably dropped tomorrow about a new soup, kind of a little twist on a beef soup recipe that I made. And I was going to put that out today, but I got enough today with 2 live streams, so I'll probably put that out tomorrow. And I don't plan a lot of these future videos. Whatever strikes me, whatever reminds me of something, if I think it would make a good video, I just do it. And somehow I almost managed to get one out every day. But this morning live stream is really taken away from actually producing videos. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All I can tell you is I enjoyed it. I enjoy it one hell of a lot more. So I'm going to keep my priorities in order and make sure I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this. Another grandma here, the feral grandma. Hello, everyone. Don't forget the likes. Yes, don't forget the likes. And who is this here? Loco, Emu, Scooby, DS111, Scooby, Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards, hello from Wales. Good afternoon over there. Good afternoon over there, too. Good to see you. Less junk, more health is here. Says hi, Mitch, and everyone. And, boy, some of you guys just chat up a storm. Laurie Weitzel with a question. Question, Mitch, you mentioned researching a few topics. I forgot which topics. How is that coming? You expect me to remember what I'm supposed to be researching? I was going to research caffeinated coffee. Haven't gotten around to that yet. I'm constantly looking into all kinds of things, and new things keep coming to my mind, and somehow the old things just kind of fall by the wayside sometimes. I'm not much of a planner when it comes to things like that. I'm more of a responder. Something comes up, brings a topic to mind. I have an opinion or something to say about it, and it becomes a video. And I think most of my videos were like that. Whether that's the best way to run a channel like this or not, maybe not. I don't think so. But pretty well take it as it comes. And if I said I was going to do something and it didn't get done, it meant one of two things. Either I no longer thought it would be interesting, or you no longer thought it would be interesting. So we just take it as it comes. Hopefully there'll be a little entertainment value in some of it along the way. Scooby, Lori, Loco, Emu, DS111. I think I'm getting down to the point. Here's a question. Loco Emu 2 question. I get very loose stools. Oh, I knew we'd get around to that sometimes. Mm-hmm. Is it because of the fat? It could be. Most likely, you might want to cut your fat back a little bit. It could be maybe you're taking or still taking some medication, maybe. It could be too many electrolytes, too much magnesium. Magnesium has a laxative effect. I know for me, if I drink too much coffee, away I go. Coffee is a mild laxative, but it does have a laxative effect. And it also depends on what I eat. And you can only experiment with that. There's really no way to know for sure until you change something and see what the result is. The problem is when you change something, sometimes it takes a little while for you to see the result. And you can't, unfortunately. You can't change more than one thing at a time. You can't say, well, I'm going to cut back on fat and I'm going to take less magnesium and the problem goes away, you have no idea which one of those two that it was. And that's a mistake a lot of people make in trying to troubleshoot something. You can't have two variables when you're trying to study something or troubleshoot it. You have to change one thing, and give it time and see what happens, which is why trying to find out these food allergy things is a nightmare. You change 10 different things and something happens and you don't know which one it was. You can only guess. So I hope that answered your question. Spanky, hi all, how the heck are you? Mitch, cheers. I don't know, Spanky, if you saw Ellen up there in the corner waving at you, but she was waving at you. There she is. Are you waving at me or Spanky?
I was waving at you, Mitch, too, but I didn't unmute myself. I think I need to get my bell, right?
No bells. No bells. Just wave. I'll see. I saw you waving, but I thought you were saying hi to Spanky.
I know, and sorry, I normally wouldn't interrupt, but I did want to say, not now, but sometime I would love to chime in about that loose stools issue, because I suffered with that issue for a long time, and it's not intuitively, and the standard advice that you always get is too much fat, right?
Okay, well, we're going to do that right now.
Okay, seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
I have no schedule. You're not interrupting. That's
Okay,
exactly what I want you to do. Exactly.
Right. I'm not saying that this is certainly the case for everybody, but this was a pretty big deal for me. So just in case, I thought I would bring it up. That
please do.
Sometimes we get into these reflex modes, and often the fat thing is the first obvious thing to brainstorm with. And I learned this with the help of Dr. Kiltz, that I had been, so it's been a year for me, and that problem wasn't going away for me with the loose stools. And I was taking all the advice, too much fat. So I was cutting the fat. I was eating mostly grass-fed meat, which is leaner. And I was sopping the fat out of it with paper towels, because the problem kept getting worse. Well, it turns out that too much protein relative to fat, because Kiltzy told me that the protein, if you have too much, so I'm a smaller person, right? For me to eat, like a pound of ground beef, that's a lot of protein at once for my body to take in. If you take in too much, you could start to ferment it in your gut. He talks about this. So we do ferment carbohydrates, but we also can ferment protein, if it's more than we can process at once. And so that too much protein, again, relative to fat, it's going to be an individual thing, can cause diarrhea and loose stools.
Okay, well, that's good.
It was miraculous. So what I did, again, so here I had been for months restricting the fat, thinking that was the problem, and the problem wasn't going away. But within days of increasing my fat, so I just did an experiment. I just basically cut out, I ate about mainly bacon, butter, almost, I don't know what percent, because I don't, track carefully, but I was almost very high percentage of fat, and the diarrhea went away.
How many days did it take?
Like 2, 3.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it has been, and so I have continued on this high fat regime, and the opposite happened. So, that's just an example of how.
Well, that's I had heard that about
right
moderate protein. We call this a high fat moderate protein diet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway,
that's good. Thank you, Ellen.
That might not be, but if anybody else is frustrated, you never know. There might be one person out there who's in that same position where they're just frustrated with that problem not going away. Because often, anyone who's been doing this for a while knows, because the talk always gets to poop, right?
Well, of course it does.
It
wouldn't be a carnivore live stream without the bathroom talk.
There's an initial adjustment phase where people often have issues, with too loose or constipation, but that should resolve, within a few weeks, certainly. But if a problem continues, beyond, that initial adjustment phase, like it did for me or perhaps anyone else out there, and you do the obvious, lower the fat, and that doesn't help it just might be something to think about, because
Cool.
it really has been a game changer for me.
Thank you, Ellen. Okay, back to
Okay.
your corner. Back to your corner. There you go.
I
Yeah, it's good. If this keeps going like this, Ellen, I'll have to rename the show, and I'll be up in the corner. No, thank you. That's great. And anytime you want to chime in,
Yeah. No.
Be my guest. Makes it easier on me. I can stop talking for a second.
No. That was just such a recent, like I said, big revelation for me that I couldn't help it for that one. I don't plan on making that a routine. I'm going to sit up here and let you work.
Oh, okay. And I see a question down here. When I see them go by, I'll grab them. So you'll probably see these too. This is a question that was just asked. And I see the bottom of the chat over here on this monitor. And the question was, how common is it to only use the bathroom, talking about number 2, every 7 to 8 days? It's not uncommon on carnivore. Not uncommon. And for me, I was on that schedule maybe once a week. And I was worried. What's wrong with me? Having come from a lifetime of constipation, of always cramming more fiber down, of always taking laxatives, of when hadn't gone in a week, of starting to think, do I need to go to the emergency room? I have cramps. Is it a bowel obstruction? And I was always concerned about that. So I take more laxatives and eat more and drink more Metamucil. And finally, I never had to go to the hospital for it, but it was scary. So when I first started carnivore, I wasn't feeling bloated like I always used to. I was certainly eating a lot of food. I was eating a couple pounds of food a day, but it was all meat and animal products. And I wasn't going to the bathroom. And it got to be 3 days. It got 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. And I'm starting to worry again. I said, what the hell is my digestive system so wrecked? And then about 7, 8 days, boom. Got an urge, went, moderate amount. Sorry if that's too much information. Not constipated, not diarrhea, just a long time between them. And I have always suspected that one of the reasons why carnivores, especially new carnivores, have a schedule. And I think the average, for me now, it's every 2 to 3 days. And from 2 years ago when I started carnivore and was going once a week or so, to now, 2 years later, the frequency has been increasing and the amount decreasing each time. In other words, my bowels are working better. They're completing a complete cycle. I'm not carrying around, I'm not dragging around 6 days worth of that waste in me. But the reason why that happens to us is, and the point was brought home to me by my friend Lee Copus, Kent Carnivore. A lot of you are familiar with Lee. If you've never watched his channel, he's a British guy. And he had I think it was Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Anyway, he had to have his young guy, his 30s, he had to have his colon removed. And he has an ostomy bag. And the ostomy bag is connected to the bottom end, the ileum of your small intestine. And what goes into the bag is what normally would go into your colon. where bacteria would act on it, maybe try to extract a few more nutrients from it. But eventually it's waste. Now, one thing that ends up in your colon is fiber, because you can't do anything with it. There's no nutritional value to it. You can't do anything else. And if there's anything to be had from that fiber, it's when it gets fermented in your colon by your microbiome. And he didn't have a colon. And he had to regularly empty and clean out that bag. What better vantage point, unfortunately, to know exactly what's surviving the trip through your small intestines? In other words, what goes into that bag is the stuff your body says, we don't need this. Let's filter it. Let's get the last little bit of any leftover energy or anything in there that we might be able to get, but let's get it out. We don't want it in our body. And he talks about the fact that when he went on carnivore, the amount of stuff that was going into that bag was cut down drastically from the time when he was eating plants and vegetables. And he was not eating processed foods or junk foods, but just eating the plants and vegetables. Most of what you eat when you eat plants and vegetables, the body says, what the hell are you doing? Why are you putting wood and cellulose through your digestive tract? Don't you know there's not an amino acid, a vitamin, a mineral, or anything in there? Oh, I know what the vegetarians tell you, how nutritious that stuff is. But look at your own poop, my friend. Take a clue from reality. We are not getting rid of this for no reason. If we thought there was something in this crap, pun not intended, if there was something in all of this stuff that we thought was worth using to be healthy, to rebuild, to convert to energy, we would keep it. We would not throw it in the garbage. And that's one of the, listening to Lee talk about his observations from a vantage point of sitting at the entrance to what is normally our colon and watching what goes by, it reinforced everything that I believed. And that is, when you eat meat, we are designed, we have the chemistry to digest meat. Meat liquefies in our stomach. We have the right amount of stomach acid, the right stomach pH to completely reduce that to its base amino acids. And that's what digestion is all about. Reduce what you're eating down to its raw building materials, and then absorb those raw building materials so that they can be used by the biochemistry that we have that can take those amino acids and reassemble them into brand new proteins when and where they're needed. It's elegant, and it makes so much sense. So when you're eating nothing but meat, even if it's pounds of meat a day, chances are there's almost no waste to it at all. And we're always going to have some waste that our body wants to dump out, because our body is constantly rebuilding itself. There are constantly dead cells. It's been said, don't quote me on where I heard this, but I've seen it in some documentaries, that in your body, there's not a single cell in your body that was there 7 years ago. That our human body does a complete exchange for new materials at least every 7 years. And some cells, like blood cells and things like that, get turned over every couple of months. Skin cells get turned over rapidly. The cells that hang on the longest, generally, maybe at worst 7 years. So you are not, there's not a trace of you, of the person you were 7 years ago. Probably not a single atom in your body that was part of your body 7 years ago. So all of that waste stuff that we have when we're rebuilding, has to be dumped. And yes, you'll have that find its way to your colon or your urinary tract, and out it goes, out it goes. Long answer to a short question. My modus operandi. Don't worry about it unless you start to have severe cramping or you think you got a blockage of some kind. Don't even think about it. Just go with the natural urges. Because our bodies tell us when things need to happen, and they tell us when it wants us to eat and wants us to stop eating. It's a natural way of living. Okay. Sip of coffee for me. I did want to say, guys, I'm going to make a shameless plug for myself. I know that you don't like to hear this. I don't like to do it, but I am going to make a shameless plug for myself. See that? Don't be afraid. If you think I'm doing a good job and I'm helping you and you enjoy what I do, to support the channel and help support me. I am ashamed to ask for this, but this is now how I'm making my living. So if you don't want to, no obligation. If you can't afford to, then, and I don't want you to. But the other morning on my live stream, I said to somebody, how about throwing me some coffees? And I got 5. And some people bought me multiples. And basically, it's not that they don't want to. It's just that you don't think about it. And I can understand that because I never think about it when I'm watching somebody else's video. And I talked about my father's favorite saying, you don't ask, you don't get. So there you go. I will take that banner down. And if you happen to think about it, much appreciated. Same thing with Super Chats. Only the coffee thing, Google doesn't take a percentage of it. It all goes to me. But I've also said I don't mind the cut that Google takes because, believe me, providing me with this platform at no charge to do what I do, I don't begrudge them a dime. I don't begrudge them a dime. They're entitled to it. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. Should I mention the Amazon links? Nah, you all know about the Amazon links. I generally, in case you can't tell, I'm uncomfortable doing that. But I don't have sponsors. I don't come on here and tell you, you need to buy this, buy that, spend your money here, spend your money there. I don't want to do that. I get the offers, but I just don't want to do it. Okay, where was I in the chat here? I think I was saying hi to people, and Rain Dancer came in. How you doing, Rain Dancer? Just love that you added Ellen. Yeah, I do too. I do too. It's much less lonely now. Much less lonely with Ellen watching over me. Went to granddaughter's birthday and spread the word. Good for you. And here was the question about the loose stools. I think we milked that one for all it was worth. Spanky, that's where I left off. Spanky was here and said hi to all of us. How you doing, Spanky? Good to see you. That's Golf Addict. And Robin Palmer. It's a new name. Hi, Robin, and welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. And DS111 is wisecracking. Mitch's live streams are the oldest thing I do. Even though it's true, it's still funny. It's still funny. And the Furrow Grandma Rain Dance. It's funny, and I'm leaving it up there. You notice I'm not in a big hurry to take it down until I can replace it with something. Ellen is just busy. God, are you busy? Look at you. Every other thing in the chat. Scooby. And Scooby, you notice her entries are blue in the chat. And she's got the wrench. I think I've told you what the wrench means. It gives her awesome powers. She can throw people out of here without even asking me. So, fear the wrench. Respect the wrench. I do. I'm the only person you can't throw out of here, Ellen. Tammy is here. Tammy Vitarge. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you. Haven't eaten since yesterday around 3. I have picanha for after the chat. Good for you. Good. Oh, man. We go to the Brazilian steakhouse, and they have picanha, and it's fabulous. Fabulous. And you all know Friday in Melbourne here, in Melbourne, Florida, we're having a meet up at 11:30 a.m. at the Brazilian Steakhouse in the Melbourne Square Mall. Steve Rogers is flying in for this, and he flew in for the one in Tampa. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Steve. I don't know if you're here. He's a retired airline employee and can fly for free. So he's going to jump on a plane, I think it's from Kansas, if I remember correctly, and he's going to land right at the Melbourne airport, which, believe it or not, is almost walking distance to the Brazilian Steakhouse. Well, it's a mile or two, but that's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And let us know in advance, Steve, if you get this message, when you're going to be getting in. And if you get in real early, one of us will come over and get you. So you don't have to be wandering around wasting time aimlessly. And we have another question here from Chiefs Forever. There's a name I don't recognize. Good to see you. What are your thoughts on taking an organic raw multivitamin along with a carnivore diet? I think that just the name of it, organic raw multivitamin, smacks of every kind of fraud on the planet Earth. Between you and me. They're all buzzwords. They're buzzwords. What do they mean by organic raw multivitamin? I will side with all of the authorities in the carnivore YouTube space, the Ken Berries, the Chafies, telling you you're wasting your money, in my opinion. Now, keep in mind, that's with no research. But since most of us who are eating properly are getting 99% of everything we need from the food we eat, and supplementing only a very few obvious things, I think it sounds like it'd be a very expensive supplement, and I wouldn't take it. If they've sold you on the idea of taking it, you can give it a try. And the problem with giving things a try is there's always what they call the placebo effect. You spend all this money, you want it to work, so you'll swear that it's working. It's very common. So I don't know. Chiefs, I wouldn't take it. And I'm a little suspicious of just how many buzzwords they have just in the actual description of what it is, an organic raw multivitamin. For me, my supplement is iodine, couple drops, electrolytes, maybe a dose a day, and a little vitamin D and K2. Because I don't think any of us, even me living in Florida, are getting adequate sunlight. And that's it. I'm feeling great. I have more energy than I know what to do with, and I don't see the need for any other supplements, but I see video after video and advertisement after advertisement. And I would especially avoid the videos where these supplements are sponsoring the video. The deals. AG1, you know what that is? Athletic Greens. They're making $1 billion, these people. They're paying the influencers who talk about and sell their product on their YouTube channels for health. And AG1 means Athletic Greens. It makes a green smoothie that just looks horrible. It looks horrible. But there's a number of videos out there now where people are actually, like the king's new clothes, exposing what these things really are, how much money people are making on it. They cost $100 just for a little bag. I don't know how many servings is in it, but it's a small bag. $100. They're paying huge commissions. Even Andrew Huberman signed on to this, and he's pushing this crap. And when I heard that, my opinion of Andrew Huberman went down by an order of 10. I thought he was a brilliant guy. I can't see anything in these athletic greens. It's all plant shit. It's all poison. I guarantee you there's no ribeye in athletic greens. I'm going to stop talking about athletic greens because I don't want to have them sue me. But the supplement business is ripe with fraud, huge profits. It's snake oil, most of it. The supplements you need are iodine. You can buy yourself enough iodine for 2 years for $10. Lugol's 2% solution on Amazon. Even vitamin D is cheap. And electrolytes, when you mix them yourself, are dirt cheap. And that's it. That's it. I don't think I spend $10 a month on all the vitamins and not even $10 a month on the supplements that I take. And that's my opinion. And that's all I can give you here is my opinion. I haven't done extensive studies and spent millions of dollars and with scientific papers and all that stuff. I have no reason to. I have no reason to. And yet I don't buy into them. Yes, Ellen, I hear some noise from your end.
Wow, I didn't think I was even making any.
No, I hear some like air conditioning or a truck going by or something. But that's all right. I know you're there and I know you want to talk. So
Spend
here
the
I
week.
am.
I'm just going to add something quick because I, just have to chime in. Allegedly speculation, not medical advice. But I listened to, I can't even remember the name, late in the night from I think some kind of vegan plant-based doctor of all people, but still he was about 80 years old. And he was going back and talking about kind of the evolution of the supplement industry and talking about how, it started with, there was, people were doing research and looking at the individual vitamins for, vitamin B, what does it do? And vitamin C, can you be okay? And anyway, he was saying how basically the same thing, even from, our philosophies on food and nutrition were not the same, but his basic message was, yes, it's all a scam because vitamins are not meant to work in isolation. They were pulled apart for people to study, but that doesn't mean if you take, and you can look at all of these pathways, the diagrams of the pathway.
Oh, yeah.
Take your vitamin B and it does that and that in theory. But that doesn't mean if you take, an isolated B1 or something, it's going to increase this enzyme and do this and this and that, because that's not how we work. We work in the, in the totality. Now, I agree with you. There are certain, the things that you mentioned.
Yeah, and they say take D works in conjunction with K2. Okay. Probably it also works in conjunction with 1,000 other things.
Right.
Did you know, Ellen?
So that
Okay.
I just wanted to support what you were saying.
No, I'm glad.
I don't even remember the name of the person giving this lecture I would, give them credit, but because there is information out there. Sometimes you have to hunt, a little. So.
Well, thank you. Pop in anytime.
My corner.
Back to your corner. Okay. Go to your room, Ellen. Go to your room. No, don't hesitate. I told you. I mean it. Don't hesitate to jump in. And I won't say anything or scold you unless you jump in so often that I can't get in a word in edgewise in my own live stream, and then we're going to have a talk. But I'm joking. I don't think that's going to happen. I love the fact that you're volunteering your time to do this, to help out. Love it. I did see a super chat here from Ashjor Knutson. Thank you, Ashjor. Let me see if I can scroll down. And I did see a question. Here it is. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, my friend. He says the only multivitamin you need is called liver. It's true. And if you eat enough good meat, you can live without liver. You don't need it. It couldn't hurt though. Try to mix it into mince. mince is what they call ground beef in Europe. If you don't like the taste, I like it and it's cheap. Yeah, because nobody wants it. But I don't eat liver. I probably could. I probably should buy a little bit of liver. I got a meat grinder, grind it up. Take some chuck, grind it up, throw a little maybe beef heart, maybe a little liver in there, some other organs, and make what they call a warrior burger. You never taste it. Or if I could find a good clean hot dog that has organ meat in it, that would be a superfood. That would be a superfood. But they load those things up with so much garlic and sugar and everything these days that I just don't want to eat them. I love a good natural casing beef quarter-pound hot dog. The kind that when you bite into it, it goes snap. A natural casing, you all know what a natural casing is, don't you? It's an intestine from an animal that they stuff full of whatever they grind up and makes a hot dog or a sausage. But they don't dare call it intestines because people would be, offended by that or run away from it. So they call it a natural casing. But thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. And I'm glad you make it. I'm glad people from over in Europe do get here on Saturday. And it's great to see you all in the morning. We get a large turnout in the morning live streams. Loads of people. And it's great. It's great. I saw a question earlier, and I'm trying to remember who asked me. It was about well, here's another question, but this was about picanha. And I'll answer that before I answer this, but I'll put this up on the screen so I don't get away from it. It was about you like the picanha at the Brilliant Steakhouse. Why don't you make some for us? I've never bought picanha. They don't sell it at Sam's Club, and I buy just about all of my meat at Sam's Club. I think they have it at Costco. But I let my Costco membership go because I like Sam's Club better for meat. And I like the fact, primarily, that I can get in at 8 o'clock in the morning before they officially open because I'm a Plus member. I like the fact that I get 5% discount or 5% back on everything I buy at Sam's Club because I have their credit card. And Costco has neither of those advantages. They won't let you in before 10 o'clock. And if you want to get in Costco early, you are standing outside in a mob at 10 o'clock, a mob of people trying to get into that store. At Sam's Club, 8 o'clock in the morning, there's 2 or 3, 4 of us standing out there. I head right for the marked down meat. Now, I got to tell you, this morning live stream is crimping my style. And I'm probably going to have to take a day off from the live stream or start it later. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll put up an advance notice of it. It'll say so on the thumbnail. I may start it at 10 o'clock some morning. That'd work. That'd be much better for the people out on the West Coast. I might alternate them. We'll see. This YouTube adventure is a constant experiment of what works and what doesn't work. Okay, another question from Chiefs. Another issue I'm experiencing is cramping in my hands. What nutrient deficiency may cause this? Cramping is usually caused by an electrolyte deficiency, potassium, magnesium. And just make sure you're getting enough salt. Give that a try. Try taking an electrolyte supplement. Just make sure it's a supplement that has a decent amount of potassium. Most of the pre-made supplements, people don't buy them because they think they need the electrolytes. They buy them because they're flavored and sweet and feed their carbohydrate addictions and their addiction for sweet tasting things. Spend a lot of money for these things, and they're just Kool-Aid in most cases. So that's why I started making my own. but it might be potassium. Now, potassium is found in great quantities in most meat. I know that according to they, you know how they say, I think the RDA, and I don't even trust most of those, the minimum daily requirement of potassium is 4,000 milligrams. That's 4 grams of potassium a day. And some of these electrolyte mixes have 60 or 80 milligrams of potassium in them, but they have great flavors and they're sweet. And if you mix them up with Pellegrino bubbly water, you've got soda pop, basically. Yeah, artificially sweetened, but soda pop nonetheless. People use that stuff because they're just not willing to give up the sweet tasting food. These are the people that never really succeed long term on carnivore, certainly never sustain it for life. There are very few people on any diet plan anywhere in the world that have sustained, once they've been a carb addict and heavy and diabetic, who have managed to reverse and correct things. There are, if any, there are very few that if you went back 20 years later, they would still be healthy and living that lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going for that record. It's only been 2 years and a couple months for me. But in those 2 years and a couple of months, I have not had a cheat bite, not a cheat bite, let alone a meal or a binge day, not a bite, not a gram of a plant in any form. Coffee's the closest thing I come to ingesting anything that comes from a plant. And it comes from basically soaking the plant in water. Most of the real hardcore carnivores like Chafee and Sean Baker, they actually tell you coffee's okay, tea is okay. It's not going to trigger the addictions. I avoid completely sweet tasting things. When I first started doing this, I doubted that I could do it. I doubted that I would be able to stick to it. After all, how could I live without that stuff that gives me so much comfort and pleasure, eating that stuff? And I was surprised to find out after a couple of months that I really didn't want it anymore. And the longer I do it, the less I want it, and the more the thought of it just disgusts me. And at this point right now, when I say to myself, you know, Mitch, you're never going to have a bite of pizza again in your entire life. You're never going to eat a donut again, not one bite. You're never going to eat a blueberry again, a strawberry. You're never going to eat anything but bacon, eggs, and beef, basically, and fish. It doesn't bother me now. It's crazy. It's crazy. I would have bet a gazillion dollars 2 years ago that it was impossible for me, because I know myself. At least I thought I did. When you heal yourself and heal your body and heal your physiology, you will do it without a second thought. Those foods that you used to kill for will be so far into you, you'll be saying to yourself, I can't believe I ate that crap. And if it hadn't happened to me, I would never believe it, and I certainly wouldn't be talking about it. But that's how we learn things. And the only way that anything can be proven to us isn't by telling us about it, is we have to experience it firsthand to believe it. And that's true of anything in life. There's two ways that you will learn something where there's no doubt. One is firsthand. You saw it with your own eyes. You heard it with your own ears. You experienced it. And the second way that you can learn something is secondhand. Somebody else will tell you, and then you have a decision. Is it credible? Do I believe them? Have they got an agenda? Have they got ulterior motives? I always defer to the rule of law when it comes to secondhand evidence. it is always dismissed if brought into a courtroom. Secondhand evidence is not evidence. It's not. It's not evidence. First-hand evidence is evidence. Second-hand evidence is called hearsay in most cases. And there's a reason for that. How do you know it's true? You're going to send somebody to jail based on the fact that somebody else said something but has no actual knowledge of it because they just heard it somewhere? So I view the fact that I give out this story of what happened to me with absolute confidence that it is true, because here I am. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we get on in this live stream. We're halfway there already. Ellen, 4 o'clock already. Wow. Anyway, that comes off the question about hand cramping, and I always do that. So I hope I answered your question. Electrolytes seem to be the most common cause of cramps. I know that if I get a leg cramp at night when I'm sleeping, I up my electrolytes a little bit and I stop cramping. So as a non-doctor, that's probably the best I can tell you. And then Furrow Grandma was talking. Everybody's helping out Chiefs Forever. So I hope you're reading some of my followers' comments. These are a bunch of smart and experienced people. And Chief says he does supplement with an electrolyte. I take a look at what's in the electrolyte and just make sure that you have an adequate amount, of potassium and magnesium in there. So many of these electrolyte supplements are like Gatorade. They're just soda pop, masquerading as something that's supposed to be healthy, but their real draw and their real allure is they basically just feed addictions. The best thing you can do is buy unflavored electrolytes, and just dilute them down in enough water where they don't taste like salt water. But then you can know what your motives are. You're not drinking them because they satisfy your urge for a sweet beverage. We tend to drink way too much liquid anyway. Just ask Kiltz about that one. Chris says, I noticed if I have 3 doses of my electrolytes in a day, I get a dry cough for a little while. That might be just too much salt. It may be one electrolyte that you're a little shy on, and by ODing on the mix itself, you may be getting way too much of something else, because most salt is the cheapest thing, and most electrolytes have the greatest quantity. What they contain is just salt, probably sea salt. And anyway, just experiment a little bit. Box Rider's here. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Maybe we could just donate you a couple of cows, Mitch. That would be great. As soon as we're done with this live stream, my friend, I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to search, see if there's a website, Buy Me a Cow. And if I find one, I will put a link up for it. Ask me what I think the odds of that happening are. Rain Dancer says, Ellen, you are an asset. Yes, you are, Ellen. I agree 100%. And Sherry Morgan is here. Sherry, hi, Sherry. How you doing? Good to see you. I saw your latest video today, Sherry, your handstand day, whatever it was. Oh, yes, somebody. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Ellen? Yes, I did that on
coffee. Yay.
Coffee. I did that on purpose today because I wanted to give a shout out to anybody that bought me a coffee, and because we don't get those, they don't get those shout outs. Like you get when you do a super chat. So I left my notifications on so that my cell phone goes ka-ching whenever somebody buys me a coffee. And I gotta tell you,
Who bought the coffee?
I'll tell you in a second now. You know me. I have to build up suspense. I'm a storyteller. At any rate, fat guy in his fat guy in his naked room is who bought me the coffee. Thank you so much. Not only did he buy me a coffee, he bought me 5 coffees.
Nice.
Man, that is so generous of you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. You don't know how much I appreciate it. And I don't get I get some, but not really a lot of people on this, because most people aren't thinking about it or, going about their daily lives. They don't just pop into their head, ooh, I need to buy Mitch a coffee. No, I'm a realist. I understand that. But that's the sound that they have. Their app has that ka-ching notification sound. And when that goes off in my pocket, a warm fuzzy just comes all over me, and I just smile, and I do appreciate it. So I left it turned on today just so I wouldn't miss those things. So thank you. What's that?
What was his name?
Fat guy in his naked room. Another one. Holy cow! Listen to that. See what happens when people get the idea. Mm-hmm. Sherry Morgan. Oh, Sherry, sweetie. Oh. Sherry is this. I got to tell you, Sherry, I think I'm in the presence of, and I hope the rest of the women don't take this personally or aren't too disappointed. But at this point in my life and my YouTube career, I am now in the presence of my 2 favorite women. Sherry Morgan, who's such a sweetheart.
She is. Yes.
And you, Ellen, you.
Oh, well, that's
you
very
too.
kind. I am up here with the wrench, so.
Yeah, you're up there in heaven. You're up there in heaven looking over me. Sherry Morgan also got 5 coffees. Thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you. And I always reply to those things and personally thank everybody. It means a lot to me. Very, very, very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You were right, Dad. See, I told you Dad was right.
Dads are always right.
Yes, they are. I'm verklempt. Let me have a little. You remember Mike Myers when he would do the coffee talk as the old Jewish woman, and he would go, I'm verklempt.
Oh, that was good. Those old Saturday Night Live were
they were the best.
Back in the day.
And if you're Jewish, you know what verklempt means. It means exactly like it sounds.
I'm not Jewish, and I learned what
verklempt means. Yeah, there's some really great Hebrew words. Really great. They're not Hebrew. It's Yiddish. Really great Yiddish words. Ganef is a great Yiddish word. Ganef. Ganef. Ganef means thief.
Oh, okay.
Ganef means criminal. And Richard Jeni, who was one of my favorite comedians of all time, and he committed suicide. Why is it that the greatest comedians commit suicide? Like Robin Williams committed suicide. Richard Jeni was the funniest, and there were some HBO specials that he had. And if you can find them, watch them. One of them was called A Boy from Brooklyn. Fabulous, hysterical. And Richard Jeni does a routine talking about the fact that he has insomnia and he has trouble sleeping at night. So he ends up watching the late night TV, and he starts going over the late night TV commercials. And if you're not rolling on the floor from this routine, then you're not human. And he does this one, a lawyer commercial. Okay? A lawyer commercial. And you know how these slip and fall lawyers sound. Oh, listen to that. Holy cow. These slip and fall lawyers, he named the lawyer in his routine Marvin Ganef. Ganef means thief. Hi, I'm Marvin Ganef. Did you slip? Did you fall? Did somebody insult you? I will get you cash. I mean, I'm rolling on the floor laughing. Marvin Goneff. I am here. I am here for you. Oh my God, that's funny. Sherry did it again. Oh my God, Sherry, you're too kind. She says you're a great man, Mitch. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with all of us. Sherry, that's more than kind, more than generous. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And don't fall off the pole, will you, please? You make me nervous when I watch your videos. And I did, because I told you that I was going to. And I want to tell you this in front of God and everybody, because I want you to be proud of me. I want you to be proud of me. I watched your redneck refrigerator video.
Yeah.
It was a friggin' riot. It was a riot. Oh man, I had no idea you were living in a with a husband and 4 kids like that have to have their own friggin' refrigerator for all of their junk food. Kudos to you if you can coexist with that and not fall off the wagon or fall prey to it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And oh my God, not only do I get Ash Jordan, you're too generous, man, too generous. Not only do I get super chats from Ash Jordan in kroners, nonetheless, but he bought me a coffee.
Oh.
He says, I can't wait for Kamala to be the first female president, but thank you for saving the lives.
Oh.
Ash Jordan, I still love you anyway. And the good news for you is you wouldn't have to live in this country if it happened. At any rate, thank you so much, my friend. He bought me 3 coffees. Thank you. You're very generous. You're very generous, my friend. And I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you're in the private community. I know that you're in the private community more than I recognize a lot of names because, and this is funny. This is funny. I get a spreadsheet from YouTube that shows me the names, the current names, because people are always coming and gone. A lot of these gifted memberships will drop out, people will drop out, new people will join. So once every few days, because I want to have the names on the first page of my website, I have to go and download this spreadsheet, manipulate the hell out of it, do away with all the columns I don't need, sort the first column alphabetically by name, and then copy that whole column into a text editor, because what happens is certain symbols don't translate into regular characters correctly. An apostrophe, for example, ends up being 4 hieroglyphic looking characters. So I have 2 users that have an apostrophe in their name, like Texas Toms. And it says Texas Tom, 4 characters of hieroglyphics, and then an S. And I have to find all those every time I want to update my website and change them. And Ash Jordan comes with 2 of those hieroglyphic looking characters, because evidently the O has a character different, an ASCII code different than a regular O. And it's translated when I convert it to put it on my website to some non-readable characters. So every time I do that, Ash Jordan, I pay attention to your name, delete out those characters that aren't necessary, so I can actually, so you don't have, people don't wonder, what the hell's that mean when they're looking at names on my website. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the coffees. I appreciate it. And it's, I don't know about you, Ellen, but
Well,
I'm getting a thrill here today with this thing going off. Yeah.
And I greatly appreciate all these coffees, people, because let me tell you, Mitch is much easier to work with when he's well caffeinated. So
we all men are, secret ladies. They tell us men, and it's great. They tell us men, secret to a good life is keep your wife happy. And I always said to myself, is anybody telling the women that's basically that, except the opposite? Yeah. I don't know, but I learned that lesson a long time ago. Happy marriage, you got to keep your wife happy. Yes, dear.
Well, it
yes,
should go both ways, shouldn't it?
I think it should.
Mm-hmm.
If it did go both ways, I'd probably still be married.
Yeah.
I'd probably still be married. But we all feel that way. We all, I think, instinctually take care of ourselves first. Even if we're not selfish people, we still have to take care of ourselves, because we wouldn't be any good to anybody if we didn't. if we didn't. Well, thank you all so much for the coffee, and Sherry especially. Thank you for all that coffee. You give me a week's supply of coffee here. That's fabulous, fabulous. And oh yeah, I just wanted you to know that I did watch the redneck refrigerator video. You should, and if any of you haven't seen it, it's Sherry Morgan YouTube channel. She's got a video from a few days ago where she bought a side-by-side refrigerator, half for her, half for the rest of her family. I mean, two refrigerators, two whole complete separate refrigerators. She had the doors fixed so they opened out from the middle, and one is hers and one is for the rest of the people to store their, what she called 7-Eleven junk in it. So, yeah, and the frustrating part is that we can't get them to understand why we do what we do. Isn't that, Ellen? That's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. So let me see where we were in the chat. Is there any more questions, Ellen, that I need to address that you have found? I'm going to do I can't hear you. Your mic's muted.
Yes, I think you're doing pretty well. I was just answering a question, so I'm going to have to scroll
Okay,
back.
I'm going to type.
You were talking about, because we got distracted with the coffee. So what were we talking about before that?
You expect me to remember?
That's supposed to be my job.
That's what always happens to me.
Yeah,
So-
but you know
so-
what? No. But you know what? While we have this pause, hopefully he's still here. We do have a birthday person.
Oh, who is that?
Name Ronald. Get this name. I actually wrote this down. Ronald Carl, music composer and arranger, is going to be 70 years old tomorrow.
Congratulations.
So Ronald, if you're still, hopefully you're still here. He just wrote one comment quite a while ago, but thought we'd say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ronald, and all that followed.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, 70 years old. I know, I remember my 70th.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hit me that hard, but at my 60, I still thought I was a kid. I mean, I'm 65, which is a milestone age. 65 is traditionally the age where your life stops. And you retire, and everybody forgets about you. You're irrelevant from there on out. And that didn't bother me. I got to 70, and I felt a little twinge and said, wow, 70, holy cow. Because, I don't care how old you are when you're younger. 70, somebody says to you, I'm 70, you say, wow, are you old? You're an old man, And it bothered me a little bit. In 2 years, I'll be 80.
Wow, I can't believe that.
I know. Think about that. 2.5 years from now, I'll be 80 years old.
Okay.
Let me think. I'm thinking about that. It's sinking in. And interestingly enough, at this stage, the way I feel 30. Honestly, I think like a 30-year-old. I feel like a 30-year-old. I have an attitude and an outlook, maybe a little more jaded and cynical.
Well,
But that's just experience and being beaten up for a longer period of time than a 30-year-old has been.
but you act like a 30-year-old in a positive way. I don't mean.
I think I do. I still feel like a kid. I still clown around, and I don't.
Yeah.
I keep saying things like, even to myself, when I grow up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be that when I grow up. Or I tell people, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up yet. Sometimes the stark reality of being my age in our society and how society views people my age is a little disturbing to me. There are people out there that would say, I'm too old to be driving a car. I should, 77, I should have my driver's license. I can fly aerobatics in a single seat biplane at my age, flawlessly, You're telling me I can't drive a car?
Right. Well, sadly,
You know,
our society has become so sick.
but we have, and
That,
now
that's
it's 50-year-olds,
the
50-year-olds.
hmm
Oh God, I hope we can do something about this.
Yeah.
My
Man,
hopes are not high, but not, that
hey,
even.
hey, one person at a time. But look at the chat here. All these, how many people are there? I don't know. But this many people ahead. If they each know one, that's, you know what? I don't know.
Yeah,
We're at
yeah.
hundreds. That's how you do it. But anyway, let's, I figured out where we are in the chat with the questions, I think.
Okay, I found one here. This Chiefs Forever said my
Yeah,
recent
yeah,
HDL
that's the
came
next one.
came out 33. I don't eat seafood. Thoughts? Eating seafood has absolutely nothing to do with your HDL that I know of. 33 is low. Okay, is low. The other number you want to look at is triglycerides, and ideally you want to have high HDL, low triglycerides. You want the ratio to be less than 2 to 1. So if your HDL is 33, you want your triglycerides to be no higher than 66, and even more optimal 1 to 1 or less than 1 to 1. Most people who are metabolically not as healthy as they could be have low LDL, high HDL, high overall cholesterol, but are usually prescribed statins by their doctor, are diabetic or pre-diabetic, and overweight, have hypertension, and just basically what is normal health for an American these days. The longer you stay on a pure carnivore diet, carnivore lifestyle, with little to no carbs, ketovore, even ketogenic, as long as you're not eating junk and you're not binging every once in a while, as long as you can stick to it, you'll find that your HDL will go up, your triglycerides will come down, your A1C will come down. If you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, it will reverse. But it does take time. You can't just go on this and after 2 weeks say to yourself, well, I've been in carnivore for 2 weeks. How come everything hasn't fixed itself? It took years to get that way. So I don't know you, Chiefs. I've never seen you in here before. I'm glad you're here and you're asking some good questions. But stick with it. Stick with it. Watch the videos. Watch other channels. Listen to how they tell you to go. It's not an easy thing to accept for yourself after a lifetime of the education we've been getting about meat is bad, low fat is good, vegan and vegetarian is good, all this stuff. Just take any advice you hear anywhere from doctors, mainstream media, drug companies, and just do the opposite. You'll be much better off. But yeah, seafood, as far as I know, I don't know. Have you ever heard, Ellen, that seafood makes your HDL go up? No, I
No,
don't think. I don't think that's true.
there's any
I don't.
relationship there.
I don't know where you heard that, but wherever you heard that, I would question some of the other things you may have heard from that person. Tammy Pitarch, I have to eat liver to keep my anemia at bay. It works. Yes, of course, of course, of course. You need the iron. And short of chewing on nails, I don't know a better way to get it than eating red meat or liver. Linda Price has a question. Do you see that one too, Ellen? It comes two after Chief's question. Linda Price, can we do an honorable mention of carnivore enthusiasm? We feel so good, we can be a bit overwhelming. New people to this way of eating don't always understand. Yeah, I understand what you mean by that, Linda. And most of us who notice this amazing transformation in not only the way we look, but the way we feel and the way our appetite is under control, and we gain the food freedom that we gain. We become evangelists. I mean, honestly, I never understood the evangelist mentality. I never understood all those people knocking on my door all excited, asking me if I found Jesus. I understand it now. I understand it. Obviously, these people think a miracle happened to them, and they have their reasons for thinking that. And I almost feel the same way about what happened to me after I started eating carnivore. I know that there is nothing supernatural about what happened. I know that it's all chemistry. But regardless of why I know it happened, and I want to tell frigging everybody, which makes me socially unbearable. People run from me when they see me. And it took me a while of being shunned and people avoiding me and getting the old deer in the headlights look when I started lecturing, for me to learn to keep my mouth shut and let people do what they're going to do, because they're going to do it anyway. And all the people, or any people that you might tell how great this is, aren't going to believe you. They're going to think you're crazy. And all you're going to be doing is socially isolating yourself. And people will say about you, listen, see that person over there? Don't. Whatever you do, do not bring up diet around them. It'll be bad. It'll be bad. Don't do it. And that's what they were saying about me here in the community I live, where they're all old, obese, and sick. Most of them are. And they all tell me I'm too skinny. You're too skinny, Mitch. You got cancer? You have cancer? Yeah. Yeah, I got cancer. No, you're right, Linda. We do feel so good. We can be a little bit overwhelming and enthusiastic. We have to keep in mind, and I've had to learn how to use the name of a comedy TV show, curb my enthusiasm. And it's something that we have to do. And you're so right. You're so right. You're so right about that. Thanks for that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. That is a great point. If people don't accept what you say, if they ask you, God, look at you. What happened? What did you do? And you start talking and they start telling, well, that's not what I believe. I believe everything in moderation, and eat a low-fat diet and eat plenty of fruits and vegetables and whole grains. That's what I believe. But if that works for you, that's fine. But I'm not going to do it. Just stop right there. Stop right there. There's not a force in nature that will convince that person that they need to even consider what you're doing. And any effort you make to try to convince them, it's just going to frustrate the hell out of you. And boy, when I was working out at the gym, I'd get these people, and these are supposed to be health conscious people, and they were all sick. And I'd start talking about carnivore, and that's what I would get. Well, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound real healthy. I know that you must eat the balanced diet, everything in moderation. And about that time, I'm starting to throw up on them, because it makes me nauseous to hear people continually tell me about moderation and balance. Balance this, I say. Good point. Good point. Let's see, do I have any more questions here in the chat? So far, it's actually working. Golf Addict says, how do I buy a coffee? Well, Spanky, let me show you. Let me show you how you buy a coffee. You go. Where is it? Where is it? You go to buymeacoffee.com/oldguycarnivore. Or you go down into the description of any video that I have, including this one, and there's a link. Just click on it, and it'll take you right there. Thank you so much for asking. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. And next Thursday, get in a little earlier because we kind of missed out on you. You came in right at the screaming end of our stream. And we were busy. God, we have a busy private community live stream last Thursday. It was great fun. It was great fun. Looks like Ellen deserted me for a few minutes. So let me try to find more questions here. Let's hit the search button again. Okay, I went back to Chief's question about bathroom frequency. Oh, here's the question. Was Tammy asking about the picanha? When are you going to make picanha? I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that, Tammy. I'll have to find me some picanha, figure out a nice way to cook it. I think I've been to all these other questions so far. Another issue, I'm experiencing cramping in my hands. Got that one. HDL level low. Linda's question, golf addict, how do I buy a coffee? Yep, I've got all the QQQs. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit today. It was something that kind of disturbed me. I saw yesterday. I was.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to go.
Okay, and we missed you so terribly.
I'm sure you did fine without me.
We try. But you do make it a lot. You do make it a lot easier for me. Not in any way that anybody might notice, but I'm feeling much more relaxed about disappointing somebody because I missed their question or something like that. It is nice. It is nice for somebody to have your back sometimes.
It will be nice. And like I said in the chat earlier, it's still, we just started, so it's a work in progress. So
oh, yeah. We'll refine it. And your audio is so much better now that we cranked that volume up on your mic.
Oh, I'm glad.
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely good enough.
Oh, that's good to know.
And tomorrow morning, with my earbuds, we'll see if that was because it was horrible this morning. When that stream started and I watched the replay, I went, oh my God, no.
I know. I felt.
And that's a very expensive headset, but it's made not to just plug right into a tablet because there's no settings that even let me control the volume up from it when it was plugged into the USB port of my tablet. Now, if I had it plugged into a Windows computer, I have tremendous control over the sound and the equalization and all that stuff, but I don't have that on an Android tablet. And that tablet works perfect for those live streams. It is a great vehicle for that. But like for my studio here, and you've seen it, I have the mixer right here. And if I plug that headset into the mixer and use that mic, it would sound exactly like this mic that I have in front of me, which is a fairly expensive Audio-Technica condenser mic. And, it's the kind you see the professional broadcasters use. And the mixer has all kinds of neat things that it does. It has filters called de-essers that de-emphasize the sibilance sounds, and it makes you sound, as much as I, with my voice, can sound like a broadcaster, it really helps. It really helps. And I enjoy using it. Let me go back to my pretty face here.
Well, this is a top-notch professional broadcast here. Really.
For a carnivore channel, we don't do too bad.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going up against Joe Rogan, Steven Crowder, all the big Ben Shapiro, all the big radio guys. This is a carnivore channel.
Yeah.
And,
they have teams.
I'm trying. That's just me. I always end up taking things too far, I think. But I think it works out great. I'm very proud of the quality of the live streams, and I was very disappointed with that one this morning. And it was a great stream, but your audio was too low, and I found myself on the replay struggling to try to understand what you're saying. And
Yeah,
but
it
that's how,
happens. It was the first time. It was a new
yeah,
situation the first time. So
yeah. But
live and
your audio right now, and I mean, if anybody thinks there's any problem with it, tell us in the chat.
yes.
Ah, it's what happens when I talk. I've been talking all day long,
Yes, you have.
not just on the live streams. I've been talking on the phone.
Oh no,
My
yeah.
poor voice. Did I finish my coffee? I think I finished my coffee. Did I? No, still a sip of coffee.
Well,
Ice cold, but still tastes good.
more coffee.
It's decaf, though. It's decaf. And somebody in the chat earlier wrote that basically it's like sewage or some other obnoxious substance, but
Coffee? Oh,
decaf, yeah. Because
Oh,
of what they do to decaffeinate it in some processes. So that's one of the things I said I did want to research, especially the Swiss water method, and try to find a decent decaf in it that I can get in a K-cup for less than $1 million, that I can be assured is actually, it doesn't just say on the label that it's that way, that really is that way, you know. I don't trust many labels, food labels anymore.
yeah, and that's wise. Like,
So what I wanted to talk about that disturbed me,
yes, let's hear about it.
there's a lot of carnivore YouTubers. A lot of them. And I can't find fault with that because I'm one of them. I mean, people that have the name carnivore in their channel name. So there's no mistake that they must think that they're carnivores because it says in the channel name carnivore. And there are some people that would chastise me for drinking coffee because my channel name is Old Guy Carnivore. If it bothers too many people, I'll change the channel name to Old Guy Carnivore Who Drinks Coffee. Okay? But, you know, it's not an issue. Even if you're a little bit keto, you call yourself a carnivore. I mean, if you go to a scientific, you know, a carnivore is not a word that was ever meant to mean a diet that you go on. It was meant to be a natural diet of a particular species. This animal is a herbivore. That animal is a carnivore. And then there's an omnivore, which is an animal that regularly eats both. And then there's subcategories. There's an obligate carnivore, and they all have different meanings. But the accepted meaning for the term carnivore, when it pertains to animals, is that 70% or more of their diet is animal-related food, animal source food. That means 30% of their diet could be fruit and plants and other things, but yet scientifically they're still categorized, labeled as a carnivore. An omnivore, I would imagine, would be closer to 50-50. A herbivore would be maybe 70% of their diet is plants and 30% comes from animals. So in the scientific definition of the word carnivore, appropriately, it could mean a very sloppy keto, couldn't it? Very sloppy. If you're getting 30% of the food you eat from plants and you still consider, and 70% from meat, you're not even keto. You are a low carb, 100 grams of carbohydrates a day person. And yet, scientifically, you could call yourself a carnivore. And sometimes I think that all of these carnivore YouTubers, even though they never heard what I just said or are unaware of the scientific criteria for using these different names, that's what they think they are. They think they're carnivores. They're nowhere near what we think of as carnivore. And then we've got the people who, of course, think that carnivore means no coffee, nothing but beef, salt, and water, and take it to the opposite extreme, the perfectionists. But there's so many people have the word carnivore in their YouTube name. I mean, just go into a search engine and type YouTube carnivore, and I mean, it'll be endless. You'll get 500,000 pages of search results. And I follow some of them. And some of them have been added on YouTube just a lot longer than me. Steak and Butter Gal. We all know these people. Laura Spath. We all know. Certainly Ken Berry. Certainly Chafee. Sean Baker. We know who these people who've been around a long time, and we also know all the keto people. We've seen them too. The keto people that have been around for ages. People with channel names like Two Crazy Ketos, the Keto Twins. I've watched so many of all of the videos from all of these people, and there was one channel that I admire. And they grew into a very successful channel. And I hate to mention names, and I'm not trying to put them down in any way. They're great people, and they put out great content, and they've had so many helpful messages in the past. And many of you are probably subscribers and probably love these two people. And I'm fond of them. And the reason that it upset me so much was because I want to, like a stern father, I want to go up, find him, and smack him in the head and say, what the hell are you thinking? What the hell are you thinking? You should know better than to do the shit you're telling us you're doing. And I'll tell you who I'm talking about. As long as you don't think I'm trying to put them down, I'm not. To me, what these nice people are people who haven't quite accepted yet in their reality the crushing power that addiction has over them. They still haven't awakened to the fact that they can't and never in their life will ever be able to control that addiction. I don't care what they do. And I'm talking about Larry and Cassie, Carnivore Quest. Everybody knows them. I've been watching them for years. I love them. They're great people. But every so often, up comes the video. I fell off the wagon. I went on a 2-week binge. This was the one I saw the other day. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. My wife didn't. She's pissed at me. I'm going to do better. I'm going to take this challenge or that challenge. I'm going to go BBB&E. I'm going to fix it. Why did he fall off the wagon? Because he and his wife decided for their 21st anniversary, they were going to go out and have a cheat meal. One cheat meal at a fancy restaurant. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a wonderful thought, don't you think? It's a wonderful thought. A great gesture. Surely, after all this time, as many times as we've done long fasts and as many challenges as we've been on, as much as we have sacrificed sticking to carnivore, as much weight as they've lost and gained and lost and gained and lost and gained and lost, surely we're entitled to just spend one important anniversary like normal people. And that's our mindset. And if you feel like you're being deprived and you don't have the privilege like normal people to eat in these fancy restaurants, all the stuff that we don't eat on carnivore, there's a problem. There's something wrong. If carnivore hasn't rid you of that, and this is the important part, and this is the point I'm trying to make. If you've been on carnivore faithfully for a year or two or more, and you still feel like you're missing out on something, then something is wrong. You're not doing it right. You haven't given up the sweet tasting drinks. You do cheat a little too often. You have not given your mind and your body time to learn that it doesn't need that shit. You keep feeding your addiction, even if it's just one bite at a time, and you will never be content being a carnivore until you become a 100% meat eater. And drink coffee if you want. The concept of cheating, the concept of a cheat meal, should not even enter your mind. There should be no allure to it. You should not look forward to it. You shouldn't want to do it. You shouldn't have the desire. You should be thinking about bacon and eggs and a steak. That's what should be attracting your attention. That's what you should be yearning for. Not a cheat meal, not a bite. And that's so hard to do long enough to where you finally get over that hump, where all the changes in your physiology put you there, like they did with me. It didn't happen in a month or 2 or 3. It didn't happen fully, not even after a year of nothing other than meat. But now, over 2 years, I can truly say that the concept or thought of me feeling sorry for myself because I'm missing out on eating in fancy Italian restaurants with tiramisu for dessert is the furthest thing from my mind. And if I went to that Italian restaurant and sat there at a table and watched people eat tiramisu and all that fancy food, I would feel sorry for them and probably go over and sit down with them and give them a carnivore lecture. That's where you will get to. And I look at people who have been preaching carnivore properly and helping hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. Give it a try. People that I admire. But somehow they have not reached that state of mind that I have. I have to wonder why. I'm not any different than any other human being. I'm not superhuman or a different species. It's happened to many of us, not just me. And the one thing that I say, the one piece of advice that I give, that I learned that worked for myself years ago when I started to treat this as an addiction. That to me, when I had that epiphany years ago, that this is not a dietary problem, this is an addiction problem. How do you treat an addiction? Well, Mitch, you abstain. How the hell can I abstain from food? Well, you don't abstain from food. You abstain from carbohydrates and plants. There's still plenty of food. You can still eat. It's not a food addiction. It's a carbohydrate addiction. Stop saying food addiction. Okay, I'll stop saying food addiction then. And I still say it out of just like a force of habit. A carbohydrate, a substance addiction. And I found that the best tool for me when early on, when I was faced with a dilemma. Well, I'm at this birthday party, and everybody's coming up to me with cake in their hand saying, here's some birthday cake. And I'm saying, no, thank you, no, thank you. Why not? They say. Well, I just, I don't want to eat. Well, you should. It's a birthday party. Have a piece of cake. Well, I'm on this diet. Well, it won't hurt you just once. No problem. Just once. Don't insult the birthday girl. Eat the cake. And I finally have to just say, happy birthday, sweetie. I'm out of here. And leave because I'm being assaulted with birthday cake. The temptations are all there. I'm an addict. I can't tell people I'm an addict. Now, if you're an alcoholic, you're an addict. If you go to a party and somebody comes up to you, hey, have a drink, celebrate. We're celebrating her birthday. No, thank you, I don't drink. Ah, come on, just one, it won't hurt. The same thing happens. But you can say the magic words to those people. I'm sorry, I am a recovering alcoholic. Oh, I'm sorry. I understand. Good on you. Hey, man, good luck with that. I'm proud of you. That's all you have to say to somebody to get them to stop. I'm a recovering alcoholic. How far would we get saying, I can't eat that birthday cake, I'm a recovering carb addict? Do you think anybody would do anything but laugh at you? And that's because the way we as a society look at carb addiction, it's a non-thing to most people, and all the people who are making a fortune and benefiting from our carb addiction don't want us to view it as an addiction and compare it to an alcoholic. But if you ever want to succeed, and this is my shtick, don't hear it anywhere else, not as emphatically as I put it out. And it frustrates me that I don't hear more of it. My shtick. If you think you can cure your carb addiction without treating it with exactly the same rules that an alcoholic has to treat his addiction, and the main rule is you will never, ever, not once, in the rest of your life, let a drop of alcohol pass between your lips. Because that's all it will take to undo all the years of work that you've done. You may be a recovered addict, but you're still, and always will be, an addict. And that's true for me with carbs. And I know for a fact that even after 2+ years, one frigging blueberry, and my cravings would come back full blast. And until the other carnivore YouTubers, with all their recipes and all their advice and all of their challenges, just learn this simple fact and accept this fact, the recidivism rate of the people that follow them will be so high, it's absurd, because that we are addicts. And carbohydrate addiction is the strongest addiction on the planet. That's my opinion. Now, anybody who's not a carbohydrate addict, and there are some lucky people, not a lot of them, but there are, they can't identify with this. And I find that easy to understand. I find it easier than most to understand because I don't drink. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm the furthest thing I'm an anti-alcoholic. I don't even like the taste of the shit, So I can understand how a non-addict might not understand what an addict is going through. So somebody that's not a carb addict thinks it's just a matter of willpower. They tell you, yeah, put on your big boy pants. Just say no. You can't. They don't understand how addiction works. There's no willpower. We're slaves to it. That's why drug addicts can't give up drugs. That's why alcoholics can't give it up. They can stay sober for a while, but inevitably all of them who quit drinking will start drinking again because they had that one cheat drink. And Larry, you cannot, and this is my advice, you cannot under any circumstances for the rest of your life have not a cheat bite, let alone an entire cheat meal, or you are sentencing yourself to a lifetime of falling off and struggling to climb back on the wagon. And if I knew him personally and he could listen to me, I would try to hammer that point home. He might think I'm right. He might think I'm wrong. But the evidence is there. Time and time again. We all know the people that try and fail. The evidence is there that I'm right. And I think that was a great little speech, and I think I may end up cutting that out and making a standalone video out of it, because I think it's an important message. So if you see a video of mine that looks vaguely familiar, like something you just heard, pardon me, but there are many, many thousands of people who don't watch my live streams, and sometimes there's a message or something I say that I think is important, and I've been planning to talk about this all day. To me, it's so obvious what the problem is, and what most people, and even many of the people in our community, this hasn't been driven home enough to them yet. They say, "Wow, Mitch, I wish I was like you. I wish I didn't desire that stuff. I wish I didn't have the cravings. I had them stronger than, or as strong as anybody. I binged as much as anybody." To me, I look at it as a miracle, and I understand why it happened. And that's what I'm trying to teach. So I hope that you got something out of that. And I noticed I did get someone did buy me a coffee, and I don't think I've thanked them. I did thank the evil twin of Ashjorn Newton. I did. Okay. So I did thank everybody. Sherry Morgan, fat guy in his naked room. There's a mental image that I'll never get out of my head.
Yes, that's quite a name.
Yes, and it's interesting. That's interesting. Takes a lot of guts to have a name like that. But wow! It is 3 minutes.
Well,
to
Mitch,
5.
I can just give you a round of applause for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
They might not be clapping, but I think they are. Perhaps
I got my own cheering section. See?
But people have been chiming in and really loving what you're saying.
Good, because I watch the replays of everything I do. I'm going to sit and watch the entire 2 hours, and while I watch, I did turn on the chat during replay. So if you watch the replay of this, you'll be able to see the chat. And I always now read every chat entry so that I know what people are saying while we're doing this. And I get all the compliments if you left one in there, and I get chastised if you did that too. So thank you, and no thank you. Ashjorn, holy cow, Ashjorn has come in with another super chat. Let me see if I can find it. What a nice way to end. What a nice way to end this stream. And it is. Time flies. You don't believe it until you're involved in it, Ellen, but time flies when you do these things. God, it seems like I just said hello 5 minutes ago. And look at all the chatting. Holy cow, there it is, Ashjorn. I'm an addict to many things. And what Mitch says is true. Don't cheat. If you do get back on the wagon quick, it's true. If you do cheat, get back on the wagon quick. It's never too late. And we're all going to cheat at first. We're all slaves to these addictions. And it doesn't even have to be substance addiction. You could be addicted to gambling. You could be addicted to any act. You could be addicted to scrolling through social media and have withdrawal symptoms if you can't, you never put your cell phone down. You can be addicted to anything. But when it comes to substance abuse, carbohydrates are the worst. I've gone over it so many times and talked about it so many times, but it's obvious that they're the worst. Carbohydrate addiction probably was the first addiction that the human animal ever experienced millions of years ago, because it was our survival food. It was a life and death survival What life and I'm laughing at this, as Jordan says. I'm addicted to super chats. Now there's an addiction I can stand behind, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very generous of you. Very generous of you. I appreciate that. At any rate, I've pontificated more than enough today. Ellen, thank you so much. I'm going to be here tomorrow morning.
I'm gonna be here too.
You go, okay, all right. You haven't gotten tired of me yet. Good, good.
Yeah.
So 8:30 tomorrow morning. We will. I don't want to make it change the time because people are kind of used to it now. But 8:30 tomorrow morning, morning coffee with Mitch and Ellen. That's going to be the new name of it. Morning coffee with Mitch and Ellen, I guess.
Unless maybe people would rather just have you.
No, I think unfortunately it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh man. At any rate, I want to thank everybody.
Dr. Nelson just dropped in at the very end, Mitch.
Oh, hey, Nelson, how you doing, my friend? And you know his first name is Nelson. So,
yes, I know.
Yeah. And hey, Nelson, I'm looking forward to seeing you next Friday. Can't wait, man. Good to see you, and thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I'll be there, God willing. Yeah, you'll be there. You'll be there, or I'm going to come get you, my friend.
That's gonna be
you and Kelsey.
Oh,
that's going to be a ball. It's going to be. I think we're going to have a great time.
Oh, you will. Okay. Bye, everyone. I'll just say goodbye to everyone.
Okay, Ellen, and
for being here. It was a great time as usual.
Good. See you in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sweetie. Bye. All right, that leaves just me. Yes, just me, and I think we need a little bit of travel and music. Oh, I love that. I love that. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for all of you who are so generous to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ellen. Did a great job. Very helpful. I enjoyed it having some company in here, and with that, it's time to give you all the rest of the day off and tell you to eat meat.